Well, we have some pretty big news. As of about an hour ago, Build Back Better, the bill containing this new EV tax credit, officially has been passed in the House. Now, in this video, I'm going to break down what all that means, as well as at the end, I have a couple updates, some news about the Ford F-150 Lightning that we'll get into, and some Tesla news too. So let's dive in. I'd hate to get political on this stuff, but it's hard not to get a little political when we're talking about a bill being passed. Now, there's this guy named Kevin McCarthy, and he basically did an 8-hour filibuster talking about just nonsense all night last night when they were trying to get this bill passed. And again, I don't care if you're a Republican, I don't care if you're a Democrat, I don't care what you do ever. Like, I'm just making these videos, I'm trying to stay objective, but this guy sucks. Are you kidding me? He's actively up there complaining. Like, he kept going back to gas prices, which is the funniest thing about how he thinks gas prices have gone up since the Biden administration took over. And he's actively trying to stop a bill that puts plug-in hybrids and EVs in Americans' driveways, a direct combatant to this gas issue, which again, it's like what, 50 cents more, and you're telling me, I don't know. Reeling that back in, this guy sucks. I just had to say that. It was so annoying. I watched him talk for maybe 2 hours, just hoping that he'd sit down and we'd pass last night so I could make a video. So maybe I'm just mad that I was strung along all night and I'm taking out my aggression on him. But okay, back to the actually thing. Sorry for that. So after this guy talked for 8 hours, everyone went home for a 2-hour nap, came back first thing this morning and passed the bill in the House. And it passed 220 to 213. So by the skin of their teeth, this whole thing has been. Honestly, it's barely getting through at every moment. And every time someone has to talk about it, it's not great things. So the fact that it got through this far is a pretty big win. But without throwing our hats and starting to celebrate, it's not done yet. So basically, here's what still has to happen is that it's going to the Senate now, which is split 50-50. And as you know, we have Manchin, who's being a total grump about the bill, especially the EV part of it. So again, there's still a good chance that union boost, and we'll get into the details of the bill if you haven't heard of it all, but there's this union boost for $4,500 additional dollars off of a union built electric vehicle. He hates that. So that might go, I don't know, all this stuff that still might change in the Senate. And then there's a whole budgetary process that it's going to reshape and redo this thing. And basically what I'm saying is it's not in its final form, even if it does pass from here. So keep that in mind. Although, and it could even get shot back down to the House to have to repass later on, and we get to listen to a whole nother 8-hour speech. So I don't want anyone celebrating quite yet. I know I was really excited, and then also reality set in. We're not quite to the finish line, but let's take this win. It's a good thing overall. So what is the bill? Again, I'm just going to do a very abridged version of it. Go check out my last video. I really dive into the details, but basically here's what it is. So first of all, you have to meet a certain salary. So you have to make under $250,000 a year, and that's $500,000 a year if you file jointly with your significant other. So if you file as head of household, that limit is $375,000. So your income needs to be under those levels first. Another important thing about this is it is for one person per year. So take that as you will. You can't buy a Tesla every week. You can't get 50 for your business and then claim a tax credit on each one. It's just one per person per year. So the $7,500 credit that is currently in place, you can only get the whole credit if you owe $7,500 or more in your taxes. However, the new way, this whole thing that just passed turns it into a rebate where you actually get the full tax credit no matter what you owe on your taxes, no matter what your tax situation is. If you buy an EV, you get the credit. Now, the other part of that is when you get the credit. So the big thing that's changed is that in 2021, the first year of this hopefully being in action, you will only get that money when you file your taxes at the end of the year. However, In 2022, it'll kick in where it will be a point of sale discount. So it'll come off the MSRP of the car and it'll be wrapped into your pricing. Next is what EVs you're allowed to buy. So yes, as I said earlier, plug-in hybrids are eligible. Electric vehicles of any sorts are eligible for the first 5 years. Now there's other reasonings to that. Again, it's all covered in other videos though. So basically there is a price limit though. So if it's a sedan, a 4-door car, basically it's gotta be under $55,000. If it's a van, an SUV or a truck, F150 Lightning buyers, listen up, it's got to be under 80,000 MSRP. And that includes, if you get the extended battery or whatever, then it's all got to be under that 80K before you sign the paperwork. Or Tesla buyers, if you're adding full self-driving and it's let's say you're buying a Model 3 is a good example. And, it's coming in at the 46,000 and then you add the 10K of full self-driving, it's no longer eligible. So just keep that in mind. And then used cars are also included, which is great. That has to be under $25,000. And then that ranges, your rebate is different from the other rebates, and it's between $2,000 and $4,000. Okay, and then the final thing of the tax credit is, what do you get? That's a great question. So it's actually very simple. The base tax credit is going to be $7,500. There's an additional $500 if the battery used in the vehicle is made in the U.S. And then finally, there's a $4,500 credit tacked onto that is in place if the car or truck is made in the U.S. by union workers. So all that being said, you can save up to $12,500 on cars like the Chevy Bolt and the Ford F-150 Lightning, and that's kind of it. That's another big reason why that $4,500 that I mentioned earlier, I wouldn't count on that sticking around. But I do think there's a good chance of the first two, the main credit, the $7,500, and then the battery credit. But again, this could be this could be the bill, and then tomorrow this could be the bill. Just keep that in mind. Those were my notes. I actually need this. So again, I know I breezed through that, but that's only because I've done like 4 videos on it. Just, you can find it with a Google search. So that's it for the tax updates. It's good news. Again, I'm really excited. Hopefully you guys are too. But again, not quite to the finish line. Now I want to talk about the fact that we still don't have a booking date. Now, we were all given from a lot of dealers a date of October 26th. And if you recall, that, much like my notes, also went out the window. And it was so stressful for a lot of people. It's continuing to be stressful because now rumors are everywhere. They're saying, hey, my dealer told me December now. My dealer told me January now. And they pop up on the threads and the forums every day. So I actually stopped making videos when new rumors, I guess, popped in. Unless I hear it from my dealer or, if it has a strong source behind it, I'll then make a video on it. But right now, we just don't know when the books will open up for the Ford F-150 Lightning. That said, I do still stand by my theory that they were kind of waiting on what happens with this tax bill because it changes a lot. And a lot of people say, yeah, if the tax credit goes, they're going to raise the prices up 10K so you don't even get the discount. I mean, sure, maybe that'd be pretty shady, but I guess there's always a chance. The real reason I think that they're doing that is, it's for dealers because they need to be able to answer these questions when people come in. When people say, hey, I heard I get $12,500 off this car. Is that true? And then every single dealer has to be like, well, kind of. You technically get this. You might have to do the $7,500, which is the old credit. Nothing's technically passed yet. But then if it does pass, dealers get this like trick in their pocket of being, hey, by the way, I can, you get $12,500. It's a sure thing. And here's how it works. And they could sell so many more cars. So again, it's just kind of a common sense theory I have, but who knows? They could just not be ready to release it. But come on, guys, I'm waiting. We're all waiting. Dear Ford, please. We just want to see how much this thing costs. I'm done talking about tax stuff. I'm done talking about it, okay? Next is a really cool story I heard, and I'm not going to get into the details. It's just short, and it's something that I can't believe I didn't think about. But they did release news that the Ford F-150 Lightning will be able to charge other cars. And of course, we knew that it could power your house, but how have we never thought, like, you know, can it charge another vehicle? And that almost makes it like its own business. Like, you know how if you ever run out of gas, you have to call AAA and then they come with like a 5-gallon thing and fill you up. There could be that as like an F-150 Lightning guy who just like hangs out on the highway and like charges people up if they run out of a juice. I don't know. That could be kind of cool, but also it's just like a neat little thing to have as like a backup of like, hey, I got you covered, bud. You know, he could share your battery. So I thought that story was worth mentioning just because I was like, man, why did I not think it could do that? Like, of course it could. So that's pretty cool. So another big news for F-150 Lightning, CEO Jim Farfar just did a interview or something, and I'm the worst news guy ever. He did something, but anyway, in the recent publication that I just read, they said they're actually close to 200,000 reservations now. That's crazy. Not only that, they think it'll be an 80% conversion rate. So they think they're going to sell 160,000 F-150 Lightnings. They better get to damn work because that's going to take years to fulfill those orders, which is just wild. And speaking of the people who are ordering that, there's also been a little bit released about more of the demographics buying this. Something very cool is about Tesla owners. So what we found is that 11% of the people who have a F-150 Lightning reserved is a Tesla owner. That seems like a pretty big chunk, and my guess is it's people like me who kind of been on the fence. One thing about Teslas, as awesome as they are, as far as like rugged or storage, you know, until the Cybertruck exists, which it doesn't yet, obviously, you know, there's that need is just doesn't exist in the market with any EVs really. So that's like the best, most exciting thing I think about the F-150 to me as far as the EV market goes is there's nothing like rugged, storage friendly, family friendly. Like this truck can do it all, which is why it's so popular, I think. And Tesla's is like the Model Y is the next best thing. And that's why those are the two things that I have ordered. So I think that kind of is why the 11% of just the people who love their electric car, but they also need something a little bit bigger and more family friendly, activity friendly, whatever you want to call it. Another thing that we've kind of already knew is that 75% of these orders are actually brand new EV buyers. So that's just an awesome thing for the EV community is that this truck is bringing in so many new people, which is, you know, kind of a great reason for this tax credit too. I know I said I was done talking about it, but if we're discounting this truck, the truck that's actually turning everyday people into EV buyers, we are helping moving that big forward step into electric cars. So I think that's pretty cool and worth mentioning. So anyway, also another part of this article that was worth mentioning is that they just entered phase 2 of pre-production. So what does that mean? I don't really know. Just entered a second phase of production. Glad I could convey that hard-hitting news to you guys. But it does say that full-scale production will begin in a few months, which will be hard to do if they don't get orders in, Ford. Hello. Please. That's all I have this week. I will be on top of it. If anything else comes out, you know where to find me. Just hit the subscribe button, and I will be annoying you with all the Ford F-150 Lightning news, a little bit of other e-bike news. I know none of you watch those videos, but hey, I do like making those too. So if you're into electric vehicles of any sort, including e-bikes, Teslas, what, you name it, then I'm happy to have you on board the Larry YouTube page of whatever you want to call this. So again, thank you guys so much for watching, because I know that this was another long video, but you guys are all the best. Again, I appreciate it. I'll see you probably in a couple days. Bye.